guys again. I'm going to start regularly scheduling these things once I get a more regular schedule myself. But yesterday I told you I was going to try a patron-only live stream on Patreon. But I'm also, and I have a little notification there, I'm also noticing that I can do the same thing for members only on YouTube. So what I think I'm going to start doing is duplicating membership only on YouTube content and Patreon, and see what ends up being more popular, and maybe moving to one or the other. But I still do plan on doing just some a short little segment on some just super shitty behavior that has just recently happened from the current LNC. And of course they are threatening to release some sanitized report of my alleged crimes. Let me tell you something. The full report is complete crap to begin with. These reports are supposed to be confidential for a reason, because they can expose the party to legal liability, which I thought they were really concerned with. It turns out what they're really concerned with is just trying to discredit me or harm me in some way. Nothing, even their libel. Well, their libel in their report can harm me professionally, but talking about harming me like personally, like my feels, no. If they do so, you're going to see what weak sauce they have, and you're going to see what a snake Adrian is, because it is so Adrian. But it is against all of our rules. They can be censored by the convention for doing so, and they can be legally liable. Just letting you know. If they do release this quote-unquote sanitized report, I'm not going to be commenting on it. I may forward comments by other people, but I'm not going to be commenting on it, because I'm not going to let them know my defense. Because the fact is, they have no case. They have none at all. If this LNC does a successful removal vote, you'll know that they have absolutely no scruples. And of course, I will take it to the JC. Now, a JC hearing is public, but the JC hearing can only deal with things that were dealt with at the secret LNC meeting. So at that point, I have no problem with things being public, because they will have already been through the due process. But it's funny that Adrian accuses me of influencing or obstructing the investigation, when it is they that are trying to release reports that our rules say are confidential ahead of time in order to try to influence. Whereas I'm the one who's following the rules and says, whatever's available in the open JC meeting, that's what's available. How come it's always one side now that seems to want to follow the rules and the other side that doesn't? An observation I made last night on Cultivar ONR was, I thought, very apropos. I'm not a fan of democracy. Voluntary democracies are fine. Political democracies suck. But something I've figured out about some of these Mises types, and it's not all of them. That's why I say some of them. Because the rank and file, they're not like this. They're against democracy. But they're not against democracy because it creates a tyranny. They're against democracy because they want to be the tyrants. And that is a big difference. You're going to start to see a huge lack of scruples. And if this quote-unquote sanitized report comes out, I want you to read it, but I want you to read it twice. Because I want you to read it with this meme in mind. You know that one with the 3 panels that's like, wait, oh, hold on, you can't see my finger. You know that one? Because it's self-contradictory. It's absolutely self-contradictory. You are dealing, and I keep having to say some, because there are some great people on this LNC, but some that are just thoroughly corrupt. They are more corrupt than any past LNC. And anyone claiming that we are all of a suddenly getting relevancy, yeah, we're getting relevancy for being as corrupt as the duopoly, for being no different than the duopoly. No matter what they try to do to me, I am never going away. And I am always going to be your voice, no matter what. These terrible people, in 2 years, most of them, are either not going to be in politics or they're going to be where they belong, in the Republican Party. And I'm still going to be here. They think they were doing some kind of huge punishment to me. And in a way it is. I'm not going to be completely flippant by, oh my God, we relieved her of her duties for a month. Can I tell you what fun I've been having this month? I've been doing so much because I have no duties. Now, of course, I could always choose not to have any more duties permanently if I wanted to, but I take my obligations seriously. And jobs I was elected to do, I am obligated to do, and I will fight to do. But if they think it's some kind of punishment not to have to be in their company, they've got another thing coming. They're the most deeply unpleasant, dysfunctional, some of them, group of people. Guys, in 2026, do better. And don't vote along caucus lines. And I know I am the pot calling the kettle black here, because I voted on caucus lines and I regret it. I absolutely regret it, and apologize to you all for falling into that hive mindset. I've given a story before about what made me very vulnerable to that. And as my pastor used to say, it doesn't make it right, but it makes it understandable. And one thing we need to beat each other is understandable. But I want you to understand this. You are witnessing a desperate LNC that would flagrantly go against their own confidentiality policy. Don't you find it funny that they're so concerned about making a confidential libelous report public, but they made their discussion list secret? See, that's one of the things. I want you to start to notice these internal contradictions and go, but, you know, the lady with the equations, if you're so into openness, Andrew Chatterton, why did you want to close the LNC list? Because you're not. You're only into openness when you think you can hurt someone. But let me tell each and every single one of you, of the bad ones, I'm not scared of you, and you can do nothing to me. But you guys should be scared, because you've done some things wrong, and it's coming out. It's coming out. Like Angela secretly forwarding the treasurer email to several other people on the LNC list. One of them was probably the assistant treasurer, which I can get, because, like, what if something were to happen to Bill Redpath tomorrow? But the fact is, the IT admins could give immediate access if something happened. So I kind of get it, but I really don't. But it was also forwarded, from what I understand, allegedly, to Kathy Yanuskavich. Why? She's not the treasurer. Why does Angela treat her as the treasurer in utter disrespect of Bill Redpath, who has given over $100,000 of his own money and hundreds of thousands of hours of his own time? Why does she disrespect him like this? I'll tell you why. Because Adrian told me the grand plan before I became a defector. Now, I hope they don't do the grand plan now that I'm exposing it. But they're planning on removing Redpath and Rutherford next. Because they don't respect your votes at convention. They don't respect you. If you are not one of them, you are nobody. You are a cockroach. You are a loser. You are a freak. You are a fad. All of those words, except for the cockroach ones, are out of the mouths of our chair. Resign, Angela, and a lot of this goes away.